What's up, everybody? You know how we get down over here on this channel. We talk about the new methods. We talk about the new scams. We talk about the dark world. We talk about the dark web. We basically talk about everything and anything that's going on in today's world. They got a lot of people getting some money, and a lot of people get a lot of jail time. So it's a lot of people that ask me a lot of different methods out there, from bank methods, check scams, bank methods, check methods, tech methods, a lot of different things, right? And a lot of people don't understand technology. And a lot of people out there doesn't understand that when it comes to money, when it comes to currency, is being generated and is being dealt with technology. Technology is the number one source of fraud in today's world. And a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people think it's just check fraud this, check fraud that, credit card fraud this, credit card fraud that, bank fraud, check fraud this, that. When a lot of methods really come from the technology world. Now, how does methods come from the technology world? Now, a lot of people need to start thinking about this. A lot of people need to start understanding this. So, when it comes to methods, technology, let me put it to you. Let me paint it in a way for you guys to really understand. So, you got banks, right? And when it comes to banks, you go to the bank, you deposit money or you withdraw money, right? So, let's say you somebody that's going to deposit money inside the bank. What? So when you take this physical currency, when you take this physical money that you have and take it to the bank, there is not a bank account in the back with your name on it. They take this money and they put it into this little box. Once you give them your money, it's a digital number now. It's now digital. It's now technology. It's now in a whole different universe. The money that you take to the bank is going to be generated and circulated throughout the bank. So when other people need to come withdraw physical money, it'll be there, so on and so on. But that money that you just deposited to your bank account is now a digital number. It's now technology. It no longer exists. It's no longer there. It's a digital number. So in today's world, we have platforms, we have technology, we have ways where we can send, receive, and store money on applications from Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, Apple Pay, Google Play, etc., etc. And you could be in California, and somebody could be in North Carolina and send somebody $500 instantly. So think about it. How is somebody in California sending somebody $500 in North Carolina through this base, through this application? It's all through system databases, servers, and networks, technology. Just like you're able to FaceTime somebody in different places, different countries, utilizing iPhones, technology, Wi-Fi, technology. Everything is surrounded around technology. And a lot of people don't understand that. When real scammers and real hackers do whatever that they do, real fraudsters, they're utilizing technology. A lot of people know about the ATM scams and ATM jackpot scams. And a lot of people don't understand how technology, system databases, servers, networks, and waves are allowing scammers and fraudsters to create different softwares, different malwares to basically control ATMs. Now, how are people creating these programs or softwares or malwares to control ATMs? Well, first of all, people have to understand when it comes to technology, computers, phones, iPads, all these different gadgets that we use on a daily basis are created with technology. And if it has a server, if it has a board, and if it has a software on it, it can be compromised. It can be taken over. So think about all the things that have a board. Anything, let me put it to you like this. Anything that can have anything transmitted to it has a system, has a software and a board. So iPhones, computers, iPads, gaming systems, key fobs, everything has a board on it that has a software and a program on it. Everything has to be updated all the time, right? These gadgets that we use on a daily basis. So these gadgets can be compromised because it has a board and a server. So a lot of people don't understand that an ATM is a mini computer, which has USB ports just like a computer will have. It has everything a computer will have. And by this computer, mini computer, being a system, being a having a software and a board and a database on it, it can be compromised. So hackers and scammers are figuring out or finding out, okay, an ATM ain't nothing but a small computer that is programmed to disperse money out, right, with certain information. So this can be compromised. It can be hacked. So malware is what they use or utilize to basically perform the ATM jackpot. Malware is basically a virus, a program or a virus that they put on whatever that they want to put on to be able to control it. And once they put the virus on that ATM, they can control it to make it disperse the money out of the ATM. It's basically tricking the ATM to just disperse all the money out of the ATM. Now, every ATM is not going to have 20,000, 50,000, $100,000 in it. But what these scammers and fraudsters are starting to figure out is which ATM does. And the ATMs that have the most money in it mainly are the ones that are connected to the banks. So they're saying, okay, we need malware. We need places. We need to figure out what tools do we need? What programs? Like, what's going on in this world? So what scammers are doing is they're basically getting a tool called the Raspberry Pi, and they're programming what they're putting these programs on it to be able to intersect signals and waves from that ATM to jam it and confuse it to make the money disperse. So a lot of times what scammers do is they'll say, okay, and it's a new world, it's a new generation, it's a new way that a lot of people are figuring these things out because ATM jackpot has become it's not new. I talked about ATM jackpot 6 years ago, but it's starting to become more popular in today's world due to technology. People are finding and trying to figure out every way that they can to be able to get some quick, fast cash and a lot of it. And wherever there's money being made or generated, there's going to be some type of scam or fraud being created. And somebody utilized their brain and said, that's a computer that's controlling this money. How about we put a virus on this computer so we could not control the computer and have the money dispersed out of it? So they're, like I said, the evolution of the world, things have evolved. So now we have Chat GPT sites. Chat GPT sites will create a script, will create a picture, will create anything and everything that you commanded or asked it to do. It'll give you any type of information that you ask it, all everything. It's the new AI robot. What scammers and fraudsters have done is they're taking the sources from these Chat GPT sites and they are jailbreaking the sources on them. So now they're adding new APKs, new sources, new things to these sites that's allowing it to be able to search and do different fraudulent things, from finding different CCs and fools and pros information for free, creating dark web websites, doing all these different things that a lot of people wouldn't be able to do if these Chat GPT fraud sites didn't exist. But at the end of the day, every fraud GPT site is not the same. Everyone is not as powerful as one another. It's all about the creator. It's all about the sources that are been have been embedded into this GPT site. So just like every Chat GPT on the ClearNet isn't able to do everything that the next would do, every GPT fraud GPT site is not going to be able to do everything that the it's not going to do everything that the next site is going to do. So every fraud GPT site is not as powerful or it's not equipped to do everything that the next is able to do. So that's another thing. Due to it being so many GPT sites that's creating sites, it's a real misconfusion, misconfusion, real mess up, right? So there's a place on the dark web, like I said, many GPT sites will create different malwares, ransomwares, etc., methods and glitches. But there's a site on the dark web, and like I said, dark web sites are not www dot blah blah blah.com or www dot. No, they're long encrypted addresses like Bitcoin addresses with .onion at the end, and you cannot promote these on the ClearNet or on YouTube, any of these places. So it makes it hard for people to find different real sites on the dark web, because a lot of people have different reasons why they're going or trying to find dark web sites for entertainment purposes, a lot of etc. Whatever, a lot of different reasons why people want to find sites, and by it not being able to be promoted or posted on the ClearNet, it makes it hard. So it's a lot of different things, but this site on the dark web will basically create, or this GPT site or whatever will basically create the malware, the ransomware, and everything for people to be able to do these different methods. And the site is called ATM Prism. ATM Prism has nothing but different malwares for different versions of Macs and Windows and different versions of computers that will allow somebody to be able to basically put on or transmit to these different ATMs to be able to commit different ATM jackpot methods and different things. So it's all about so they get the Raspberry Pi or the Flipper Zero. They go on these dark web GPT sites. They find the best one that can create these malwares. They once they get this program, they load it onto the Flipper Zero. Then they pick their ATM that they want to potentially target, and then they transmit it, they jam it, and money just starts dispersing, and they're right there just collecting the money out of it. And it's just as easy as that. And people don't understand that these GPT sites are going to become more advanced, more popular, and more people are going to start learning about them on the outside world, and they're going to start creating more glitches, more methods, more whatever programs and softwares to do a lot of different fraudulent things, because they're finding the loopholes in these different systems, in these different databases, in these different servers that's allowing them to do that, because there are a lot of loopholes, a lot of different servers and networks. That's how people are able to hack different accounts and different programs, because of the loopholes, because of the vulnerabilities that possess in these softwares and programs and databases. That's why there's always an iPhone software update and things like that to prevent those type of things from happening. So ATM jackpotting is starting to become very, very popular, because it's not as hard as someone would think, or a scammer or fraudster would think. And if it comes from just getting a Raspberry Pi, Flipper Zero, going on a dark web, finding a strong GPT site, commanding it to create a malware for this type of whatever, ATM or Windows. It might be, most ATMs are Windows based. Load that server or that program onto that tool, that Flipper Zero, that Raspberry Pi, and going to whatever targeted ATM that they have and commit this method. So a lot of times, like I said, everything is starting to become technology based. More methods are starting to become easier because they are technology based. And people are not understanding that. More people are trying to do things because they heard this rapper say this or this person say that. They want to see, they seen them make this and make that. Now they want to put themselves in a position to create these quote unquote methods to get money, but they're putting themselves in harm's way. They're putting themselves on camera committing crimes. They're going to ATMs, they're going to side banks and putting themselves on camera, and it's not working because they're not thinking, they're not utilizing their common sense that God given them. So it's just all about understanding what's really going on out here in today's world, because a lot of people are not hip to the technology fraud world. A lot of people want to do this check method, this credit card method, but they don't know what's really popping off, what's really going on. And there's people that are in this technology world that know what goes on, is making millions and millions of dollars, and they're watching low-level scammers and fraudsters walk into banks, going to ATMs, withdraw $200 here, $200 there, $300 here, or do some type of check for 2,000, and they're laughing like ha ha ha, because nobody's really doing it. It's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different world, and it's a lot of different things that's going on. It's making a lot of easier money for different people in the dark world. So the ATM jackpot, the ATM methods, like I said, they are basically going finding these fraud GPT sites, downloading softwares, making these softwares, programming them on these Flipper Zeros, these Raspberry Pis, hitting targeted ATMs, and making a lot of money. And these videos you can find on YouTube. You can type in ATM jackpot, and a lot of different news articles and stories have been popping up because of this becoming more and more popular, because more people are starting about it. More people are learning about these fraud GPT sites, and more people are starting to utilize these fraud GPT sites and make these methods and make these softwares. So like I said, Jackpot Prism is the dark web website that is creating a lot of different malware versions of softwares and different things, is allowing these scammers and fraudsters to commit ATM jackpot. So it's just all about being more safe, being more cautious, and being more aware of what's going on out here in this real crazy world that we all living in. Because if you don't have the knowledge, you don't have the information or the resources, it can potentially happen to you because you don't know what's going on. All right, so it's just be more safe, be more cautious, be more aware, know what's going on, know your surroundings, and know that technology is real. We utilize technology every day, all day. So it's starting to start learning more about technology, right? So it's a billion different YouTube channels and different YouTubers out here, but you decided to be here with me. So with that being said, I'll see you at the next lesson, video or live, and method. Peace.